I do plan on running a tiered weekend sale every weekend. So I hope you guys stick around to see how that plays out and if that process actually works week over week, or if I just had a fluke this week. The sale of the week is this Sony Welcome back, everybody. If you're new here, my name is Paul. I lost my job back in May of 2024. I started eBay reselling once I was trying to figure out what to do in life. I'm now going back to college for graphic design, and I've been documenting my journey as an eBay reseller ever since the start here on YouTube. I go through my top 10 weekly sales every week just to show you what's been selling for me. I also talk about things that have gone on with me throughout the week as it concerns to the business and college. So if you're new here and you like the content, please hit the subscribe button. It would be greatly appreciated. Other than that, this week has been a very long week for me. The weather has been very bipolar, up and down, snowstorms, and I've just not been feeling well. I feel like I've had the crud on and off again, just depending on the day, is depending on how I feel. I felt like I was getting over it yesterday. This morning I woke up with some aches and pains, and I've been moving real slow. But on the positive, business has been really good this week. As a matter of fact, it's been a record-breaking week for me in the number of sales I've had and in the net profit made. So we're winning on all ends. It's been really busy. College, this week is finals week, but last week we had to do like the prep for finals, which itself was a huge project. Yeah, but everything's going really good there. Graphic design. I mean, I could probably pop up what I did on screen right now and just show you a little bit of the stuff I'm working on in my graphic design class. Very proud of it. I built everything from scratch on it. None of that is like just stolen from somewhere else and put on. I actually built everything you're seeing on those images from scratch. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the numbers and show you how this week went. This week we had a gross sales of $786, which was a net sales of $400 even. Couldn't do that again if I tried. Our busiest day this week was Friday with $154.99 of gross, $90.64 on net sales. And I want to do a quick shout out real quick to Bart Owl Vintage. Last week I told you that I watched a YouTube channel where he explains his theory of how he sources during the week, and then every week he runs a sale. He doesn't send any offers at all during the weekend, and then on Monday morning he wakes up and he has a whole bunch of offers to send. Bart Owl Vintage commented last week and said the guy I was thinking of was Thrift Boss, and that's 100% correct. That is the person I was thinking of. And after watching his video and hearing what he had to say, a lot of it made sense. So now I'm implementing a variation of his plan. I highly recommend going over to Thrift Boss's channel and checking out that video of how he does it. But seeing the success of my Black Friday weekend sale, I've decided that I'm going to do a tier sale every weekend because I wanted to try it out. And as you can see from the graph in front of you, you can definitely tell when my Black Friday sale ended and then when my next weekend sale picked up. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to have all my weekend sales start on Friday at midnight. Thursday going into Friday at midnight. And I think there's something to it. And this, obviously, my Black Friday sales, the tiers were a lot more off just to kick open the business, which worked. But now I'm bringing those percentages down to a more reasonable sale, reasonable discounted offer. Still seems to be working. Saw great traction through the weekend. I definitely like this plan, and I think I'm going to stick to it going forward, just to keep trying it out to see if this helps with the growth and building. And as you can see, this week resulted in our record sales week as far as net profit brought in and the number of items sold in a week. We beat last week by one item. We sold 32 last week. This week we sold 33. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Average gross per sale was $25.36. Average net per sale was up from the abysmal $9 it was last week to $12.90. We are back up to our 51% profit margin, and the average profit margin per sale was 45%. Top 10 sources by net returns. We got rid of a lot of that donated lot from back in July that I got, where I was just given a whole bunch of stuff. A lot of that stuff went this week on weekend on sales. eBay remotes. I'm so happy to see eBay remotes. The remote sales are starting to pick up, starting to come through, and I'm almost at the break-even point with all my remote sales. So much so I felt comfortable with what I've seen in the last couple weeks to where I just re-upped and got I bought another bulk lot of remotes on eBay. When buying, if you're thinking about getting into it, one thing I would recommend when you're looking for bulk lots on eBay of remotes, if that's how you're deciding to buy them starting out, make sure you read the descriptions really good. Look at the pictures really good, because backs on, backs off, that's something you want to find out. I will buy if they say, like, you know, 150 remote lot, 3 of them don't have backs, everything's untested. And that's the thing, you're always gambling with these where you're buying them untested, so you're going to get ones that don't work, and then, you know, you just eat that. But a lot of times what happens when a remote doesn't work, it's usually the contact points in the battery terminal, and you just clean the battery terminal and the remote will come back to life. I'm not saying that works every time. I have a whole box of not working remotes that one day I'm going to sit down with a soldering iron and pop all of them open and see if I can get some of them working. If not, I'll bulk sell them off. And with bulk selling off sunglasses, I just came to the end of listing the second bulk order. Well, technically the third bulk order, but like the second really big order of sunglasses. I came to the point of listing them to where I wasn't even paying attention, and I'm gonna probably run out of sunglass listings before I get my my third re-up. I just bought another re-up for that. And with the sunglasses, when you get them, sometimes you get damaged pair, even though you're buying a lot of new ones. I know a lot of people buy the used lots, and used sunglasses sell great. I like to buy new with tags and sell new sunglasses. But what I've been doing is, as I've been going through my sunglasses and listing them, when I come across a pair that are damaged, and the damage is always scratches on the lens, I've been putting those aside. And this Friday, I made my second auction listing. My first auction still hasn't sold yet. I keep re-upping that. But I created my second auction listing for scratch sunglasses. I'm selling them as frames only, you know, new with defects, having the tags on. I'll let you guys know how that auction goes. I still have yet to make an auction sale since being an eBay reseller, and currently I've only ever done 2 auction listings as of now, being the sunglasses and an old portable VHS tuner modulator thing that I don't know what it is, but I keep lowering the price on it, and every week it doesn't get a bid, but one of these days I'll get an auction sale. So those are just some pieces of advice if you buy items in bulk, things to look out for, and things to keep in mind. Spent a total of $2.25 on new inventory this week. So as I told you guys, I have not been feeling good this week. This is now 2 weeks in a row where I haven't done any big sourcing, and my death pile up here is feeling it. We're running pretty slim on items to list. So regardless of how I'm feeling this week, Wednesday, I've got to get out and I've got to go hit the pavement and hit up at least 5 thrift stores and see if there's any sales. Because right now, like I said, our weather's weird. We got a big snowstorm, and then today it's like the spring thaw and everything's melting extremely fast. Hoping somebody might actually do like a garage sale this week up here, because that occasionally will happen whenever we have a reprieve from the weather. Somebody will still do it. An estate sale or a garage sale. So I need to get out and do that. Cost of goods sold this week was $72.94. I spent $104 on marketplace fees with eBay, and I paid parcel services $209 in shipping label fees. Continued on my goal of listing at least 12 items a day, which I do plan on lowering, especially come the new year. I think I'm going to go down to 8 items a day. I'm not 100% sure yet. And it has nothing, the 2 main reasons are I feel my store is getting big enough to where I don't have to keep trying to pump it up to get it to where I want to be. And B, just the time investment, especially now that my college courses are getting a little bit more advanced. The time effort I have to do towards college and other obligations I have going on, I think bringing it down to 8 will be more manageable for my life. Normally I would get 84 new listings in a week. This week I got 85, and as discussed, it was due to that sunglass lot, the damaged sunglass lot that I posted for an auction. I added that on top of the 12, and we had a total of 33 sales this week, which is a record number of sales in a week for me. I know for a lot of people that might not be much, but for me that's huge. And when you're a guy that only needs to make $65 in profit a week to survive, it's pretty awesome when you have that kind of numbers going on. Average time to list something in my store was 6 months. Average time to sell something in my store was 2 months. We had a 400% return on investment and an average return on investment per sale of 496. Jumping into the top 10, number 10 is this decorative Christmas wreath with snow pine, berries, bells, and pine cones. This was part of that donated lot back in July. So I got this for free. It sold on eBay for $30 even. That was $10 for the wreath and $20 for the shipping. Actual cost to ship this item was $10.32. That provided me a net return of $15.76, which was an infinite return on investment and a net profit margin of 53%. Number 9 sale of the week is this Logitech Harmony One remote RIY17. I purchased this remote in a lot on eBay. The remote itself cost $1.20. It sold on eBay for $25.83, which was $19.98 for the remote, $5.85 for the shipping. Actual cost to ship this item was $4.43, which provided me a net return of $16.73, which was a 1,394% return on investment and a 65% net profit margin. Now, when I got in that bulk order, I believe this was my second bulk remote purchase order. This was in that lot. I knew that this was the most expensive one in there, and I saw the remote in the pictures. They definitely made sure you could see this remote because this was probably a big moneymaker in that lot. The downside to it was this one particular did not have a back cover and it did not have a battery, but I knew that that didn't matter, that this remote was still an expensive remote and would sell. And it just so happened that the week that I got that bulk order in, while I was out thrifting, I found the exact same remote, completely intact with the charging cradle, for $5 at a thrift store. And it had the instruction manual in that too. So I bought that remote, obviously, because these, like fully intact, these can go for up to like $75 when it has the actual charging cradle, the battery in it, because it's a specialized battery. It's not like AA or AAA's. You have to have a special battery for it. And the main reason I bought it was so I could test this remote. So this remote I sold, no battery, no back, but I was able to use the battery from the new one to show that this remote actually did work. So I would, which increased the value, because if I couldn't test the remote and I couldn't guarantee that it works, the remote's useless and nobody would have ever bought it. But because I was able to show a video of this remote working, still selling it with no back or battery, making sure that was in the title, making sure that was in the listing, this sold on eBay for $25.83. So, which was $20 for the remote, $5 for the shipping, which is awesome. Number 8 sale of the week is this large decorative pearl scent yellow apple figurine ceramic fruit. This came from the donated lot back in July as well. And I want to say a couple months back, I sold a set of pairs, ceramic figurine pairs, just like this apple from that donated set. And when I was still going through all the items in the donated, I came across this apple, and I wish I could have bundled that with the pairs, but I found it later on when going through that merchandise. So I got this for free from the donated lot. It sold on eBay for $28.83, which was $19.98 for the apple and $8.85 for the shipping. Actual cost to ship this item was $7.79, which provided me a net return of $17.30, which was an infinite return on investment and a 60% net profit margin. Number 7 sale of the week is this Dickens Collectible Town Series Porcelain Lighted House from 1998, complete in box. I purchased this for $3.88 at a Goodwill. It sold on eBay for $37.08, which was $24.98 for the house and $12.10 for the shipping. Actual cost to ship this item was $9.51. That provided me a net return of $18.90, which was a 487% return on investment and a 51% net profit margin. I like picking up these holiday ceramic houses. I still have a couple more on the shelves. I sold the gazebo last week for $20. I always think these are good finds. There's still a lot of people that collect them, and if they're in working order, they're going to command a pretty good price. So I would always recommend, if you could find one of these for a good price, to pick them up, because you will get your money back with a healthy profit on the back end. Number 6 sale of the week is this SV2000 4-head Hi-Fi VCR, no remote. Purchased this at a Salvation Army for $3.07. It sold on eBay for $38.99, which is $23.99 for the VCR and $15 for the shipping. Cost to ship this item was $13.10, which provided me a net return of $19 even, which was a 619% return on investment and a 49% net profit margin. Number 5 sale of the week is this Columbia Yellow Thermal Comfort Omni Heat Zip Puffer Jacket Insulated. I picked this up at a Salvation Army for $3.88. It sold on eBay for $39.10, which was $30 for the jacket, $9.10 for the shipping. Actual cost to ship this item was $7.78. That provided me a net return of $22.29, which was a 574% return on investment and a net profit margin of 57%. Number 4 sale of the week is this Hip Hop Wrapping Santa and Elves 2012 Pan Asian Creations Christmas Animated. I picked this up at a St. Vinny's for $3.07. It sold on eBay for $48.69. That's $35.74 for the Wrapping Santa and Elves, and $12.98 for the shipping. Actual cost to ship this item was $9.73. which provided me a net return of $28.82, which was a 939% return on investment and a 59% net profit margin. Big thing about this one, having to ship it, you had to get really creative, because the way it works is all 3 of them are puppets on the animated board, and then they have like an animated stick that comes through and controls their arms and their bodies and their heads. So what I did was I padded them individually between each one, and then I wrapped them all together like that in bubble wrap multiple times, going it over, put them in a box. I think it's going to be pretty safe for travel, but this did pose a big challenge for shipping. Number 3 sale of the week is this Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island for Super Nintendo. For those of you that are longtime watchers of the show, you'll know that this is the second time we sold this exact same game cart. Sold this cartridge back in summer, and it was my second return. The person said the game doesn't work. She tried it in her Super Nintendo, her neighbor's Super Nintendo, and it didn't work, which was fine. She opened up a return. I told her to open a return, send it back. She sent it back to me. I made sure that there were some specific details on this cartridge that I knew were mine. That was one thing I wanted to make sure, is the one I got returned was my cartridge, and I wasn't just trading this one in for somebody else's. And as soon as I got it, and I opened it on camera, and I was going to make a video about it because I knew this worked when I sent it, and I popped it in on camera right when I opened it. Like, I opened the package on camera. This is months ago. I didn't actually make a video with it, though. Put it right in, hit the button. It started right up. I relisted it. I'm assuming it was a regret purchase back then, but it sold again for $41.83 on eBay. That was $35.98 for the cartridge, $5.85 for the shipping. Actual cost to ship this item was $4.37. After a return trip, that's still good enough for me to have a net return of $32.10. It's an infinite return on investment and a net profit margin of 77%. Number 2 sale of the week is this Sony And the number 2 sale of the week is this Sony CyberShot DCS S700 7.2 megapixel. So real quick before we get into the details on this one, I posted this like 3 weeks ago, I believe 22 days ago, 3 weeks ago. And this thing has gotten so many watchers and viewers throughout the time it's been listed. I was always told that digital cameras do really well on eBay. And just as soon as I listed this one, people just kept looking at it, going to it. The traffic on it was pretty amazing. It was not in a good it wasn't in good shape. Everything worked perfectly, but you could tell this camera's been through the ringer, has a lot of scuffs, bumps, and bruises on it, but everything works flawlessly. I made a video of it working. I put it up for initially $44.98, and then I put it on sale. It sold on sale. But before it sold, I got a message about it from a buyer. And the message, just no hello, no nothing else. Do you accept returns on this item if I buy it? I normally am really good about responding to all questions that I get in DMs, but for some reason, this question in particular really irked me. Like the first thing you're going to say out the gate is, do you accept returns on this item? Now, as a lot of you know, a couple weeks back, I decided that I'm turning free returns on every item so I can get the top rated plus benefits. And so I went into this listing not in my eBay account, an alt eBay account, just to see what it looked like. And whether you did it on mobile or you did it on computer, the first thing you see is a big badge, top rated plus, fast shipping, free returns, big bold letters on this listing. And I was like, you know what? There's a lot of times where I will hold a buyer's hand through stuff that's already in the listing. Like if they hit me up and they're like, hey, what size is this? Even though the title clearly says like size large t-shirt, I'll usually go through it. But the first question to me being, do you accept returns on this item if I buy it? That to me just says, this is a setup for failure. If that's the first question you're asking me about the product, like I'm gonna have to be dealing with a return here in a couple weeks. Even though I clearly labeled in the description, bumps and bruises, free return shipping was on, 30-day free returns, clearly listed in the item. So I didn't respond. And 24 hours later, I get a bing, and he messages me again, and he said, so what is it? What's the deal on the returns if I buy this? And I was like, Jesus, do I block them? Like, I was having a real struggle with this. I went to the Flipwise Discord, I asked them, and a lot of people said, I don't block them. I have no problem holding hands. And like I said, I normally don't have problem holding a buyer's hand through a purchase for stuff that's in the listing, but this one specifically bothered me. And in the 20 minutes of me going and asking for other resellers' advice, this sold for full price to another buyer. And I was just like, sweet, I don't even have to deal with it. I don't even have to think about it again. And when I say full price, it was on sale on the weekend. So it sold on eBay for $47.28, which was $39.98 for the camera, $7.30 for the shipping. Actual cost to ship this item was $5.26, which provided me a net return of $33.79, which is a 918% return on investment and a 71% net profit margin. And the number one sale of the week is this vintage Kozar VH5280 VCR. This item was donated to me by my brother, and because he just came across it throughout his journeys. And one thing that was really cool about this one is, obviously I preach to you guys to, whenever you're at thrift stores and they've got the 25 or 50 cent cord bin, to be buying up as many RCA, power cords, everything you can. Buy those cords up when you can get them for a quarter or 50 cents, because they will end up coming in handy. Obviously I was able to pair the cords with it. Also, because I sell remotes, I happen to have the original remote for this VCR in my inventory. So I pulled the remote out of my remote inventory, I paired it with the VCR, and I was able to upcharge and upsell this VCR. Obviously, I made a video of showing it working, where it could play a VHS, pause, stop, rewind, fast forward, and eject the VHS in perfect running order, which is a way to get these to sell really quick. This one sold in 6 days. It sold on eBay for $50.98, which was $35.98 for the VCR, $15 for the shipping. The actual cost to ship this item was $10.73, which provided me a net return of $35.39, which is an infinite return on investment and a net profit margin of 69%. And that concludes our top 10. Boots and Bandit are really wanting to be lovey-dovey right now. And I know you guys like seeing them, so hey, say hi to everybody. Yeah, bud. No? Okay. No, besides being sick this week, business was a great week. Made lots of money, was busy nonstop. And when you are not feeling well, it does kind of stink to have to be out in a freezing garage packaging up products. But when you realize how much money you're making, you realize it's a blessing, and just get it in and out of the way. And yeah, as far as business, everything's going great. College, everything's going great. Gearing up for finals. A lot of busyness, a lot of stress. I'm just hoping to get better. I'm hoping you guys are having a great week. I'm hoping you're seeing Q4 sales like I am. And I hope everybody is making money. If you guys have any questions, or if there's anything you want to know, please leave a comment down below. If you guys are new here, it would be greatly appreciated if you hit the subscribe button. If you enjoyed the content, hit the like button. That helps me in the YouTube algorithm. But I don't have much else to say this week. I do plan on running a tiered weekend sale every weekend. So I hope you guys stick around to see how that plays out and if that process actually works week over week, or if I just had a fluke this week. And Black Friday, obviously, but Black Friday is its own beast. But this weekend sales were good. As of right now, it's noon, and I've already hit my weekly sales goal for the week already on Sunday. So I think this is something I'm going to stick to, and it's something I'm going to continue to work towards. And the way I'm doing this is just every Thursday evening, I'm sitting down and I'm going through and I'm tearing out what the sale is going to be, and the prices for everything are going to fluctuate. So the way I'm mainly doing it is by my own store category. So like a standard is going to be sunglasses and remotes are going to be 20% off. Anything over 90 days, I'm thinking about doing on a monthly schedule where like week 1, anything over 90 days is 30% off. Week 2, maybe 33, 35% off. Week 4, and then like the last weekend of the month, anything over 90 days, let's try to liquidate it and get rid of it, and maybe 40%. I don't know. I don't know what the exact numbers are, but that's how I'm structuring this sale. And then like my least percentage off this weekend sale was coats, jackets, and outerwear accessories, because obviously those are in high demand right now. But if I offer a little bit, it might bring people in and purchase them. So I don't want to give those a lot off. Springtime, you know, like baseball gloves and sporting goods will be the least amount of sale item on a weekend. This is something I want to experiment with, and I really want to try and see how it goes. But yeah, we're gonna see how it plays out, and I hope you guys stick around to see how it plays out. Again, I hope you guys had a great week. I hope all of you have a great week to come. I thank you so much for joining me every Sunday, watching these videos and seeing what's sold and participating in chat. I love hanging out in the comment section and talking to people in the comment section. A lot of people say some really inspirational things, give great advice. So thank you guys for coming here every week. Truly appreciate it. And as always, I'll see you guys next Sunday.